guys, welcome back to my channel. Last week it was so hot that I had to have the windows open. This week it is absolutely pouring it down, so you might hear the rain. Let's get straight on with today's tutorial. For foundation today, I'm going to use a Drugstore one because I don't do this very often. This one is the Rimmel Match Perfection Invisible Cover Foundation. I don't even know if this colour is going to suit me. This is 200 Soft Beige. Normally beige ones work with my skin tone. So I'm just going to put a couple of pumps of this onto the back of my hand. I'm going to go straight onto the skin. Actually, it's not too bad. My face is obviously not going to get any colour again as usual, so you'll probably see that most of my foundations from here on out, now the summer's come in, will be darker than my actual skin tone on my face, because if you're new to my channel, I suffer with melasma, which is kind of like pigmentation that comes up around my face. So I have to keep my face out of the sun, and my body tans really well even if I'm just having a walk around. So I usually have a very pasty face, or have done the last 2 years since I've been keeping my face out of the sun. I like to go in with a smaller synthetic brush just around my nose where my pores are, just to tap that in. It just gives a much better finish. So this is a medium coverage foundation, but as usual you can shear a foundation out if you use your fingers. When you apply it with a dense bristled brush you get a fuller coverage. I believe it would be quite buildable, but I don't use this foundation, I rarely use this foundation, so I wouldn't be able to give you an idea of how well it builds and then how that would wear. I don't really wear a lot of foundation in the day in general. My preference is to use the Bare Minerals Original Foundation, which is a powder to cream formula. Although it's buildable, it's still quite light. So I don't really wear liquid foundations, not too often at all actually. But it looks really lovely on the skin. I believe there's 25 shades available, which I think is really good for a drugstore brand. And by the looks of the online swatches, it goes quite deep in tone. I don't know how fair it is because their light shades all look really similar. So I'm not entirely sure that if you are kind of like alabaster skin, whether you would find a shade that would match for you in this foundation. But for a drugstore option, it's pretty good. Online it also shows you the options for undertones as well, so if you're core, warm or neutral, it does tell you on the website, or at least it does on the UK one, which undertone that foundation has. If you are only a fan of applying your foundation with a brush, just use kind of like the belly of the brush to pat your foundation in once you've finished, and it will get rid of any kind of streaky marks. That looks really lovely. Honestly, drugstore foundations really have come a long way. And the price of this foundation is around £8.99. I can see on Amazon, probably limited in shades, that you can get it for around £4, which is insane. It does have a soft focus finish, which I genuinely agree with. It really does give a soft focus finish to the skin. And I would say it's more like a kind of satin finish. It's not matte, but it's definitely not dewy. It's just a natural kind of radiant finish, which I really like. On my lips, I'm going to put this lip gloss on by Iconic London in the shade Sugar Mama. So although this is clear, it does have a very subtle pink hue to it. And these give you glassy lips. They're so comfortable to wear. They've got a lovely scent to them. And it just wears beautifully, and it really does make your lips super hydrated looking. To bring some life to my skin, I need to add a little bit of highlight just to bring forward the high planes of the face so that the skin doesn't look flat. I'm going to stick with Drugstore, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Anti-Age, the Eraser Eye. It's actually really similar to the one I absolutely love by AU. And this is like the most fantastic concealer because it really does not sit in fine lines and wrinkles. I don't know how they've done it, but I blend it with my fingers and it's fantastic. But I'm going to use this one today. So I'm going to pop this underneath the eyes. This is in the shade Light. Pop a little bit on the outer corners, centre of the nose, and a little bit on the forehead. You can use a sponge to work this in, you can use a brush, but I really do like to work with my fingers because they're warm, they kind of melt the product into the skin, and it just gives the most natural finish. So just use the pad of your ring finger and press that in. I'm going to use what's left on my finger to bring that down so it doesn't kind of just stop. It kind of fades out, and then this side I'm going to bring up to give a more lifted appearance to the skin. You can always wipe off the excess product onto the palm of your hand so that you can continue blending. Sometimes if there's too much product on your finger, you won't blend, you'll just be kind of smearing it in. So you can see instantly it lifts the eyes, it just brings a bit of life back to the skin. With the chin, you don't want to blend it out too far, otherwise you're going to make your chin look wider. If you already have quite a prominent chin, you might want to avoid putting highlighter on this area. When I say highlighter, I'm talking about concealer. If you find when you're putting the concealer on your skin and it's giving an ashy appearance, then it's too light or it's not warm enough and you've gone for something that's too cool in tone. You can also go back in with your foundation brush and just gently pat over. If you don't like a full coverage finish to your skin, or you don't like layering too many products, you can just get two foundations, one that's slightly lighter and one that's slightly deeper, and you can do exactly the same method just with the foundation. So you're not layering as many products, it doesn't feel like you've got a ton of products on your skin, and it will just give you more of a natural finish. So while that settles on the skin, I don't like to put any powder on. I rarely put powder on anyway, even though I am oily. What I like to do is allow my eyes to move around and allow this to warm up underneath the eyes. Then I take a cotton bud and I just roll it very softly along the area that it's creasing. And what it's going to do is it's going to pick up that excess product that's sitting there. So you're not swiping it away, but you're just gently rolling over that area to pick up the excess product. And then you can re-pat over it with your fingers. And then because there's no excess product in that area, it's less likely to crease because you've kind of taken all that excess product away with this. So then whatever's just sitting there is just what's needed as opposed to any excess product, if that makes sense. So look up and just gently swipe over the area that's creased, and I tend to do this maybe 3 times before I've finished my makeup, and then after that I don't get any more creasing because there's no excess product there. So really softly, you're just almost kind of very softly swiping over the excess product. You do the same on your top lid as well. So I'm just going to do base makeup first because I think I'm just going to keep the eyes pretty simple today and make this more of a perfected base but at an affordable level, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use this SOSU Contour on the Go contour stick, which is a cream based product. This one is £10.95, so I definitely think it's in the affordable range. You get a ton of product for the £10. Let me show you. This would last you ages. And this is in the shade Cool. Now I always think if you're using a contour product as a contour, it should be a cool product. Now we've not set our base, so this should be easy to blend into the skin. You can use it straight from the bullet, or you can use it onto a brush and then pat that onto the skin. I think I might do that. I know so many of you find it very, very scary. So take your brush and just dip it onto the cream stick. We're then going to go into the hollows of the cheeks, this line here, and stipple in that area. Now you can use this as part contour, part bronzer. It's completely up to you. The smaller the brush, the more precise you're going to be. Whereas if you use a bigger brush, you can contour and bronze at the same time. The nice thing about this stick, although it is a cool tone, you can definitely use it as a bronzer at the same time. Before I blend that in, I'm going to apply it to the other side. I'll dust the excess product off of the brush and then use that to stipple over to blend. If you do it all in one go, you might find that you get into a bit of a mess. With a contour, you kind of don't really want to bring it further down than kind of the outer half of your eye. With a bronzer, you can go kind of onto the cheek area, but if you're just using it as a contour and you want to sculpt the face, if you sculpt it too far down, that starts to look more drag. So just be aware of what you're doing. So now I've got less product on those bristles, I can stipple over it without getting into a bit of a muddy mess. It's definitely important when you're working with cream-based products to use a synthetic bristle brush, because anything that's got natural hair tends to clump together. So you kind of aren't using the bristles as soft fluffy bristles, then you're starting to get like clumpy sections, so the blending isn't happening because you haven't got those individual hairs standing up to do that blending for you. Instead they kind of all clump together in different areas and it just becomes a mess. What I see a lot of on Instagram is kind of sections of colour on the face where people aren't blending it and they have a ton of likes and followers, and I am looking at it thinking, are we looking at the same thing? So to prevent that happening, use what's left on the bristles to kind of work up over the concealer that we pulled up here. We're not going to completely go over it because there's barely anything left on the bristles, especially if you've been wiping it off onto a tissue or the back of your hand, but it's going to blur out the line between the two shades that we've got on the face. It definitely has to look natural. So just take the time to be aware of your sectioning. It doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be difficult, but what I'm saying is if when you've put a lighter colour on and then you're putting on something that's darker here, we'll have a transition between this darker shade and the lighter one. So you just want to make sure it's nice and soft. So don't be afraid to kind of feather over where you've applied the colour. Let's get up close and have a nosy at the skin. So when I look up, you can see I'm getting a tiny bit of creasing. So we're taking away a little bit of that excess product, which is causing that creasing. So just while your skin's warming it up, take that time to do the rest of your makeup and remove what you need to so that when you're ready to set your face, if you are going to, you won't have excessive creasing. Again, here in the inner corner, because there's only so much it will migrate. There's only so much warming up you can do. So once you've allowed it to kind of reach its maximum moving point as such, then you should be fine. So you can see the skin looks nice and glowy. So there's a nice blend between the contour shade and where we put a little bit of that lighter concealer. So you can't see where one starts and where one finishes as such. Obviously we do want definition here, otherwise we won't get any shape, which is the point of putting it on in the first place. But overall the skin looks really lovely and it's really affordable foundation and contour stick. For blush, I'm going to use one that I have loved for many years. This is the Milani Luminoso blush. This is a beautiful kind of peachy tone. It is a baked blush, so it has a kind of mineralized finish to it, which means it gives a beautiful glow. If you want a more lifted appearance to your skin, you can apply it on the back half of the cheek. If you want a more youthful appearance to your skin, you can also apply it on the apples of the cheeks and flush it backwards. But be more subtle when it's on the apple of your cheek, otherwise you can end up looking like Aunt Sally from Wessel Gummidge, which is not a good look. I like to start in this section here, which is kind of the best of both worlds. So pat a little bit on. It's kind of in line with the outer half of your eye. Smile and then kind of bounce around it. A great thing you can do is go back in with your foundation brush and very softly, and I mean really softly so you're not disturbing all your base makeup, buff over this in very soft circular motions. As it is a baked blush, you do get a beautiful mineralized glow to the skin. If you do have a lot of skin texture, it might be something you want to avoid and maybe use a cream blush or a liquid blush but in a matte finish. You can also use something like the Nudestix Nudies Bloom, because although they give a beautiful shine to the skin, there's no shimmery particles in them. So they kind of reflect the light, which almost gives a bit of a softer finish to textured skin. I'm going to keep the eyes super simple. I'm going to use this Jumbo Pencil by NYX in the shade Sparkle Nude. So we'll make it more about the lashes, but we'll just put a wash of this over the eyes and just use it straight from the bullet. And because it is a nude tone with a little hint of sparkle to it, it feels like you've got something exciting going on, but really subtly. And then you can just blend the seam of it with your finger before it sets in place. I'm also going to take a little bit of that on the inner corner of the eye. And just across the tear duct as well. I love these because they're so affordable. You can put a little bit of bronzer through the socket of the eye if you want. I'm not going to today. I'm going to keep it so simple and just pop some eyelashes on. The ones I'm going to use are these Faux Mink Wispies by Ardell. So I've popped one on, and as you can see, this is how it looks, quite standard, but I'm going to give it a little curl yet to give it a bit more of a lift and look a little bit more natural, and it almost kind of disguises the band because it lifts a bit more. While it's in the actual casing, I like to go in with a black eyeliner and just paint along the clear lash band. I find when it's really close to the root of the eyelashes, when you look down, you can see the clear lash band against your black lashes. Also, just one other tip, I find the easiest way to get these out of the casing is to put your thumb on the lash and just give it a little pull down, so you're almost rolling your thumb away. So I'm going to go in with my eyelash curlers, give these a little pinch. For mascara, I'm going to use this one by Maybelline, which is the Sky High Mascara. Lots and lots of people rave about this. The wand reminds me of the Bad Girl Bang by Benefit. You'll see the top one is the Bad Girl Bang, the bottom one is the Maybelline Sky High. Both are super flexible, really similar, but I definitely would say that the Bad Girl Bang is a lot blacker. So I'm going to put a small amount of mascara right at the base of these eyelashes and my natural ones. For two reasons: it will secure the lash to my natural lashes as well as the glue, but it will also darken my natural lashes so you can't see them peering underneath up close. I also like that it kind of gives the falsies a bit more of a mascara feel. Wispies are supposed to look nice and fluffy, which I'm all for, but I do like the look of mascara. I'm actually going to take it a little bit more up the length because I quite like how it's given them a bit more of a spiky finish. I'm also going to pop that on my bottom eyelashes. It's so similar to Bad Girl Bang. For lips, I'm going to use this Rimmel Stay Matte lip colour in the shade Coral Sass. It's not very good, but I do really like the applicator. It's a bit hard, but it's very precise. The formula is a bit wishy-washy, like you put a bit on and then you wipe it back off. I think the key for this one, if you wanted it to be more intense, would be to put a layer on, let it dry down and then build it up in layers after you've let each layer dry. I mean, the pigment payoff is fine, you can see the colour, which is really good. My lips feel a little bit tacky at the moment, but they are drying down. You could just see that when I was swiping it on and then going back over it, it was kind of taking the colour off with it. So that's today's quick and easy makeup tutorial. A bit more in depth about base makeup, especially with drugstore products, which I think is a good one because not a lot of people want to spend a fortune on makeup products. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you did. I will list and link as many of the products as I can in the description bar. I sometimes find that not all drugstore products can be bought online, and I have had some of these a while, so I'm hoping most of what I've used will still be available. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.